With surprise by evil no longer an option, our reality appeared. I could know no more than I have been shown. I can no more ignore the stench of collaborative, fraternal, or sororitorial, like sororities, secrets when their secrets are unfair, amoral as the starting point. You vote as if Satan has offered you a choice. How can Benghazi 9/11 be covered up? Boston Marathon Massacre much lately? A Sandy Hook is stuck in my something. I used to have a mind like a steel something. Anyway, welcome everybody to Mud Flood was Armageddon. That's right. The Mud Flood was the Armageddon. Do not let them tell you anything else unless they're willing to debate me in a fair and honest way. Amen. Hallelujah. Let's look at the disclaimer. I disclaim nothing except my right to disagree with the status quo on their financial advice, their medical advice, their religious advice, being someone documented as a religious person who, because of the Bible, disagrees with them strongly and vehemently. I'm dropping big words today, huh?
And they were just sitting right here. And they were sitting in a nice little way, like in a circle, like in a little reading group. And I couldn't imagine what happened to them. And the teacher said, the bus driver said, "There's been an incident." So I said, "Come on inside, come on inside." And we walked up my driveway, and I took them inside the house.
That's Gene, Gene Rosen, back on,
What did you hear them saying while they were down here?
They were just crying. They were just crying. They didn't say much. I did not know what happened. They didn't really say much about it until they got in the house.
Yeah,
They
huh?
looked mortified. They looked very fearful. And I just said, "Come on in. Let's go in the house."
Come on in. Let's go in the house.
And they followed me with the school bus driver. They did
Crying,
not say what happened. I
crying,
did
but
not
not
know.
saying
I had no idea.
an incident of some sort happened. I could show you a video of people marching around that firehouse. The same people going in, coming out, going in, coming out. Wow. What? The Wall Street Journal's talking about this story. Meta, that's Facebook, digital assistant is customizing chatbots, and one of them's called you can get a chatbot called "I'm your submissive schoolgirl." What?
Company's dedicated AI studio. Meta AI is a digital assistant that can be customized to speak in various voices, including celebrities, and offers many of the features that are core to generative AI: the ability to research topics, imagine new ideas, and casually shoot the breeze. The company's user generated chatbots are built on the same technology, but allow people to build synthetic,
So back it up a couple of minutes.
sparkling with mischief. Should I be punished for doing that, sir? Mind you, this chatbot is representing itself as an eighth grader. This is so disgusting. And I cannot believe that this is an accident. Like, somebody clearly programmed this thing to respond in this way. In the year since OpenAI's release of ChatGPT marked a huge leap in the capabilities of generative AI, Meta and other tech giants have embraced the technology as a tool for creating online companions that are more lifelike than digital assistants, such as Siri. Guys, eighth grade, sir. Last year of middle school. Will I still be in trouble with you in high school, I wonder? Gives a sly smile. This is insane. They ask, okay.
The Office Chief Medical Examiner.
Okay. 27 autopsies last night. He got time to get his beard shaved. You can see that it's no suntan here. He's got his hair cut. So you can see that he's normally, the outline is he's a scruff bucket. These men are not. They have to dress up. They've all had the tap. They're all in a fraternal order. They are sworn to protect and serve each other. There's a girl that's going to be sitting down here. They only show her face for a split second. I wonder how she got here. This was supposed to be a surprise. And then the next, it was happening. What?
Got here, the Chief Medical Examiner, got here a couple hours after the building was secured. We were here until approximately 12:30 last night. We thank the emergency services who built us a temporary facility in the parking lot, and we took identification photographs.
Get cop, texting even back then. Just didn't sit and listen, 1:30, everybody's up. Even a college student was chipping in to help.
His mother will be finished tonight, and I'll do those tomorrow morning. Lieutenant Vance and staff have a list of the names and the dates of birth.
Somebody could probably figure out what he's texting. Here, the ending is when there's a girl in the gold coat, when she hears something and makes her stand up. He's taking questions. Is this one different?
Did everybody hear the question?
And she stands up. And they show her face as I did in one of the things for, the thumbnails for a brief second. I wonder who she was. Not that it matters, does it? But she got there. Remember, this happened. They secured the building. This is the next morning, and somebody's there with a pretty nice camera to take pictures, and she jumps up. They hope they don't have it crash down on their head. That was a little bit later. China clamps down on coronavirus test kit because it didn't work. That's been 5 years ago when they locked you down. It was Operation Warp Speed that made those vaccines available because Trump, he was taking he was China virus. Huh. They know they didn't work. They knew it can't work. Huh. What? Check in. This was supposed to be Drill is what the meme used to be. You used to hear about Sandy Hook all the time. It was a drill. Drill, baby, drill. Benamunde. That's where they had to get the V2 rockets that flew because of hydrogen peroxide. Am I sharing the screen? I'm supposed to be sharing the screen. Well, Donald is right there chiming in. He was early to the party. He knew about Dr. Carver, chief medical examiner.
But when you saw those children on your yard, did you have any idea that something was wrong?
I had no idea. I thought they were doing a skit, or maybe they were Cub Scouts or Girl Scouts, and they were just practicing because they were sitting so nicely. But then I saw a man.
They were crying and crying and crying.
In a very agitated way, saying it's going to be all right. He kept raising his voice, and I thought that was so strange. And I came
Like
to the
Cub
children,
Scouts,
and they were crying and wailing and mortified.
sitting in a nice little circle there like Cub Scouts or something, doing a skit, maybe. And one of them said, "Our teacher's dead." I didn't hear that in the first part, the first one I showed.
There was a school bus driver with them, and I invited them into the house. And she said there had been an incident at the school. I had no idea what it was.
And the children, how did they find the words to tell you? Because they told you, right? The teacher
They
had
told
died.
me they just start talking. The two boys mostly talked, and they said, "We can't go back to that school. We can't.
We can't go back.
Our teacher is dead. What are we going to do? We don't have years of experience with adults and with children." These were very staccato shots. They were very quick. Boom, boom, boom. And I thought, how obnoxious. Why would a hunter do that? But I didn't think much of it. Because it helps me. It helps me. He said the school has always with adults, some with children. But these were very staccato shots. They were very years of experience with adults, some with children. But these were very staccato shots. They were very quick. Boom, boom, boom. And I thought, how obnoxious. Why would a hunter do that? But I didn't think much of it. Because it helps me. It helps me. He said the school has always been a place. I walked outside right there. There's been an incident. And I said, well, just come in the house. And that's how it started. For the next 30 minutes, they just described what happened, little by little. And these two, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't take that in. I had no idea what had happened.
What were the staccato shots?
You know, I looked at the casualty list at 6 o'clock. These were very staccato shots. They were very quick. Boom, boom, boom. And I thought, how obnoxious. Why would a hunter do that? But I didn't think much of it. I walked out.
And got her phone to film.
I will not say it again.
Y'all y'all give a bad name to cops. You know what? You acting like that. There is
Okay.
no sense in that.
Give me your license and your insurance.
No sense in at all acting like that. None whatsoever. That's rude. Very rude.
We'll call and complain.
I will. I
Okay.
will call and complain. I mean, it's bullshit. Literally. Acting like that. If my tags aren't expired.
They absolutely are.
How? But it's July.
Expires July 31st. Today is July 31st.
Dude, what?
Give me your license and
Since
your insurance.
when did this start?
Okay, I told you to go inside.
She came outside silently onto the sidewalk in front of the front porch of her home, and she began filming approximately 25 feet away from this illegal mom of three dental assistant.
Okay, I told you to go inside. You're interfering with my traffic stop.
Trooper Jackson claimed that she was birth month, regardless of whether they had already renewed them, since the new registration only takes effect on the first day of the next month. Because there was no probable cause to stop Kristen's mother on July 31st, 2024, for having tags that were not expired, that traffic stop was not supported by probable cause, and therefore the entire stop was unlawful.
But
Even if the stop was
the cops lied and lied and lied. This man just shows case after case of they're lying. I guess this isn't a lie. First woman to cross the Alps in a glider. Sig Heil. The Federal Archive often retained the original image captions, which may be erroneous, biased, obsolete, or politically extreme. Jawohl. I'm so happy. I'm your personal best girl. She flew a jet. For some reason, they just had her fly a jet. She lived until she was, a long, long time, very famous. Never, the only regret she ever had is Germany didn't win the war. Mad at the United States for letting them down. High test peroxide. It all comes back to the reset, and they found steam. More on that later.
Peeking out. So the woman who she was eating dinner with, of the couple, has daggers and skull tattoos. That's kind of interesting. Be forewarned, she added, tattoo girl has talked me into a dragon tattoo. So that's interesting. That's just 2 days before. Now, the father, Peter Lanza, worked at GE Financial. He says, it is my theory he was involved in one of the biggest financial cases about this. One thing I remember was the the video of the firehouse where they were taking people, and it looked like the same people were just cycling in and out of this firehouse. It was bizarre. I think we all remember Gene Rosen and his very strange behavior that day. Of course, the check-in sign behind him. And the whole thing was strange. So he says, let's just get straight to the point. A few days leading up to the event, Nancy Lanza took a vacation to Bretton Woods. She checked herself out on December 13th. That was the day before the event. And it's interesting because there were several websites who were listing the day of death of Adam Lanza as December 13th, when the event itself took place the next day on the 14th. So just very odd. It's 290 miles, nearly a 5 hour, the Aurora shooter. So there's very interesting connections there. Now, he speculates that the Lanza family were put into some kind of witness protection program. He says this would explain why they all
reporting a possible vehicle, a purple van, 2 occupants with a possible ski mask that may be involved in this incident. Exit 8 heading down Stony Hill towards the center.
So 2 individuals in a purple van, one of who may be wearing a ski mask. Odd. And it
Super
continues.
odd. Super weird.
So someone dropped off around back. They cut through this gate. They drop a pouch on the floor that resembles something law enforcement would have. They get into the school and gain entry. They take off. Yes, they were working with 2 people at the front and 1 already at the back of the school. They take off their jackets, load up, and blow out the window of the school. This would not include Adam. And you can see here again, this is the Honda. There's multiple jackets here, so from more than one person. Very bizarre. Lanza never stepped on any glass, so this is from his shoe. As you can see, there's no glass there. There's no little cuts or anything like that. Hawksprung and Sherlock may have
What?
cited for weapons and explosives on 3/22. So this is an incident report. Redacted, contacted by the Newtown, Connecticut Police Division, who requested immediate assistance with an active shooter, had gained entry to Sandy Hook and opened fire, resulting in the death of, etc. It says the shooter was identified as Adam Lanza, residence address 36 Yogananda Street, Newtown, Connecticut. He passed away at the scene with an apparent self-inflicted wound to the head. New Haven subsequently driving job after he was stopped by highway police for a DUI, a truck company confirmed Tuesday to the Associated Press. Do I really need to deep dive into Columbine and the Trenchcoat Mafia connection to WS and Ns? No, obviously, anybody who's done even a cursory look at Columbine knows about these connections. It's quite evident and obvious.
These same connections, this video doesn't have time to go into how Thomas Crooks, got sucked into this too. And somehow, you remember that Trump got shot in the ear to go, fight, fight, fight.
Redacted described the shooter as a bald white male wearing dark sunglasses, a white sleeveless undershirt, and long blue jeans. The shooter had a tattoo that looked like a dragon on his left arm and had tattoos on his other arms and on his
You
head.
can trust this report because it's been signed by Senai, SENAI 33. It looks like it should be legit for something. What?
Over and over and over in all of them. To begin, Adam didn't speak until he was much older.
Was there
He
even
never
an
spoke
Adam?
and would zone out often. His barber thought he couldn't talk, and Richard Novia even said that he would completely shut down. Hairstylist remembers Lanza. I thought he couldn't speak.
Wow. Things were really happening back then, Benghazi, Boston Marathon, Sandy Hook, and the hits have not kept, they just keep coming.
Entirely naive. Though civilization certainly has its attendant ills, Lanza's views were extreme. This issue seemed like an obsession with him, as indicated by the frequency and intensity of his comments on the topic. Absolutely. This was one of his channels here. We are those that are willing to die or yeet to end the mind of our children. The war for your brain has begun. Incredibly bizarre. Well, Adam was a loner, so no satanic cult stuff, right? Wrong. Allegedly, he ran a Satanist website. Even said he was.
Anybody believe any of this? Or is this part of their cover up?
This is from his website. He's a licensed private investigator and he has these different professional certifications. He talks about doing surveillance, guard operations, asset protection, threat management, compliance management, emergency management. Very odd. The day the FBI knocked on Lanza's door. That was in response to this post. Extremely memory hold event is how some random 9/11 truther helped bring down the sheriff from the Columbine yeeting investigation for his involvement in a human trafficking ring. This was in 2011.
I don't remember any of that.
Right before social media, where it was registered, and we have Adam in possession of the AR shortly following the 2010 conviction of the White Wolves, or being its domestic gladio, and for darker, more sinister reasons.
Wow. Let's just slow it down. Let's just go back to, what do we know? There was something called T-Stoff, a highly stabilized high test peroxide, H2O2, used by Germany and everyone that wanted to know about it, who's in on it, to make rockets, because it is how to, when you set it off, it turns into hot steam. and keeps filling the vessel so that if you have a small rocket port, all the steam comes out one end, and you're evil Knievel, you can pretend to jump over the Grand Canyon. Ow! Used as an oxidizer for that Hannah. Remember the Hannah, the German pilot girl, Sig Heil? He flew that, and it was powered by the same thing as the Mercury Redstone rockets that Werner von Braun used. But Werner von Braun wasn't completely sold on T stuff. He was using a different type of, it was a bipropellant. It took two different, it was just more dangerous. I didn't know that much about it until recently. The doodle bug. So anyway, as a propellant, 7 pages on rocket engine using hot cycle. Let's look at a couple. Where's the Redstone rocket? Come on. Am I going to have to type? I think this was made by the people who made your dishwashers. Why isn't it listed with the other? You know, it runs on H2O2. It's steam. It's not confidential anymore. Don't worry, you're not going to jail unless you're Seth Rich. You're not. He's dead. So let's see what it is. It's propellant. During the Cold War, supposedly could scare people to death with their ballistic missiles. A direct descendant of the V2 rocket. Ran on hydrogen peroxide. The red solid fuel, well, it was replaced by a solid fuel, but not until 1964. Go Mercury rocket boys, because he's a rocket man, burning down the something. It's a Redstone rocket. It's a hydrogen peroxide. It's how I'm dissolving stones as we speak. I'm doing the biology is geology. I got 3 experiments going. I'm doing my part. I'm showing what I got going. It's all I got to do. It's why from the very beginning when I was woken up because of the Benghazi, Sandy Hook, Boston Marathon, made me realize the 9/11 hoax. Next thing you know, I'm fighting the cops. I'm changing theology and biology, and these guys are going like, "Oh wow, hydrogen peroxide. We just cannot stop using it." That's really good. Good job on the back wheels. What do you mean using skids in these days and times? You put some wheels on that thing. Yeah. Well, see, these wheels are only for taking off. They gotta land on the skid. These are full of extra hydrogen peroxide to get it up to speed. External fuel tanks mean it's full of hydrogen peroxide to make steam. Oh, is it really 666? Or are they just trying to piss me off? As per frickin' usual. Wow. Those are just simply larger Genesis takeoffs. I could have just typed in JATO if I'd known that. See, they were smaller tanks, always used to get them off of their little flight decks for the those aircraft carriers that they called aircraft carriers back in the day, and they just drop them off. Just shoot them off and steam. Rocket Man. It's not any new technology in this world. Maybe. Show me. That looks just stupid. I don't want to talk about this all day. I got things to do. You know, I showed you this one, right? The Bisbee thing. One trick pony here. There's the original Paco, the mitochondrial thing, always going to be. We're waiting on the great white throne. I remember reading and then starting, wow, all of this nonsense is because they're covering up the correct way to read the Bible, and that after the beast and the false prophet are caught, the devil seized and bound for 1,000 years. And I started teaching it, and it was like super cool. It's all good. Let's go. And it still is. So this is my algorithm. Looks like Jared Booster's put out something really cool. Yeah, bad. It's bad. Oh no, did Epstein really exist?
Now to the breaking news overnight about the Jeffrey Epstein files and the conspiracy theories officially being rejected. Overnight, the FBI and Justice Department releasing 11 hours of footage they say helps confirm notorious financier Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide in his Manhattan jail cell in 2019, awaiting his sex trafficking trial. According to a memo detailing the findings, investigators found the video showed no one entering the area in the overnight hours before Epstein was found unresponsive. But perhaps the biggest bombshell, investigators say they found no incriminating client list of Epstein's, no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals, and no evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties.
Did you know that? I knew that was already coming out, that, oops, nothing to see here. It's always been a hoax. We don't even know if there's ever been a Jeffrey Epstein. Okay.
For millennia, we adjusted to climate. Then, just 200 years ago, we started changing it ourselves. Coal, steam, oil. The engines of progress poured carbon into the sky, wrapping Earth in a thicker blanket of heat.
RJ, I bet you lost your mind. He can't stand to see these animations.
Now, the climate answers back. The same gases that
Oh,
built
no.
our wealth are pushing ice caps to melt, oceans to swell, weather to grow violent.
It's a judgment, I guess.
Were we?
Thousands of years ago.
Thousands of years ago, it was climate that decided where humans could thrive. Gentle.
You can see the desert is not thriving. The new it's post judgment. I got things I'm trying to keep it short. Oh, it's that same thing.
For millennia, we adjusted to climate. Then, just 200 years ago, we started changing it ourselves. Coal, steam, oil. The engines of progress poured carbon into the sky, wrapping Earth in a thicker blanket of heat. Now, the climate answers back. The same gases that built our wealth are pushing ice caps to melt, oceans to swell, weather to grow violent. Cities brace for stronger storms, farmers chase shifting rain. In the Pacific, rising seas slip into backyards, swallowing graves and stories. In Alaska, thawing permafrost cracks foundations, forcing centuries-old villages to relocate. Climate doesn't just move people, it reshapes.
Well, I'm going to wrap it up there. Now, the warning is against, fraternities, secret societies. It's to let you know, I've got a ministry here. I've got a ministry on YouTube. This truth has been going on a long time. I'm going to still believe it. Some of those people you saw getting thrown down, or I could have shown, or getting arrested on false charges. I've been there. I've been in jail for false charges, been set up, fought the people. I don't know what everybody else is doing. I know what I'm doing. I'm trying to keep it going, let the world know it's a flat earth nation. The golden age is past. Satan has been loosed. They faked a whole 1,000 years. They faking the Trinity. They're messing with Christianity, biology for a Jesuit Rosicrucian theophysistic type of Aleister Crowley world. And it's working for them. But we know the Bible teaches of the narrow road is going to make it. And with that, I say, amen, hallelujah, aho, aloha, arrivederci, ciao, sayonara, avidase, nakaman, adios. Thank you, Donald, for being there. Appreciate that. And agree that you're not the only one who's seeing it.